at 1 o'clock in the morning by Charles Baudelaire. Alone at last. Nothing is to be heard but the rattle of a few tardy and tired out cabs. There will be silence now, if not repose, for several hours at least. At last the tyranny of the human face has disappeared. I shall not suffer except alone. At last it is permitted me to refresh myself in a bath of shadows. But first, a double turn of the key in the lock. It seems to me that this turn of the key will deepen my solitude and strengthen the barriers which actually separate me from the world. A horrible life in a horrible city. Let us run over the events of the day. I have seen several literary men. One of them wished to know if he could get to Russia by land. He seemed to have an idea that Russia was an island. I have disputed generously enough with the editor of a review, who to each objection replied, "We take the part of respectable people," which implies that every other paper but his own is edited by a knave. I have saluted some 20 people, 15 of them unknown to me, and been driven to kill time during a shower with a mountebank, who wanted me to design for her a costume as Venusta. I have made my bow to a theater manager who said, "You will do well, perhaps, to interview Z. He is the heaviest, foolishest, and most celebrated of all my authors. With him, perhaps, you will be able to come to something. See him, and then we'll see." I have boasted why of several villainous deeds I never committed, and indignantly denied certain shameful things I accomplished with joy, certain misdeeds of fanfaronade, crimes of human respect. I have refused an easy favor to a friend and given a written recommendation to a perfect fool. Heavens, it's well ended. Discontented with myself and with everything and everybody else, I should be glad enough to redeem myself and regain my self-respect in the silence and solitude. Souls of those whom I have loved, whom I have sung, fortify me, sustain me, drive away the lies and the corrupting vapors of this world. And thou, Lord my God, accord me so much grace as shall produce some beautiful verse to prove to myself that I am not the last of men, that I am not inferior to those I despise. What is Truth by Charles Baudelaire. I once knew a certain Benedicta whose presence filled the air with the ideal, and whose eyes spread abroad the desire of grandeur, of beauty, of glory, and of all that makes man believe in immortality. But this miraculous maiden was too beautiful for long life, so she died soon after I knew her first. And it was I myself who entombed her upon a day when spring swung her censer even in the burial ground. It was I myself who entombed her, fast closed in a coffin of perfumed wood, as uncorruptible as the coffers of India. And as my eyes rested upon the spot where my treasure lay hidden, I became suddenly aware of a little being who singularly resembled the dead, and who, stamping the newly turned earth with a curious and hysterical violence, burst into laughter and said, "It is I, the true Benedicta. It is I, the notorious drab. As the punishment of your folly and blindness, you shall love me as I truly am." But I furiously replied, "No." The better to emphasize my refusal, I struck the ground so violently with my foot that my leg was thrust up to the knee in the recent grave, and I, like a wolf in a trap, was caught perhaps forever in the grave of the ideal. Apologia by Oscar Wilde. Is it thy will that I should wax and wane, barter my cloth of gold for hodden grey, and at thy pleasure weave that web of pain, whose brightest threads are each a wasted day? Is it thy will, love that I love so well, that my soul's house should be a tortured spot, wherein like evil paramours must dwell, the quenchless flame, the worm that dieth not? Nay, if it be thy will, I shall endure, and sell ambition at the common mart, and let dull failure be my vestiture, and sorrow dig its grave within my heart. Perchance it may be better so. At least, I have not made my heart a heart of stone, nor starved my boyhood of its goodly feast, nor walked where beauty is a thing unknown. Many a man hath done so, sought defense, in straitened bonds the soul that should be free, trodden the dusty road of common sense, while all the forest sang of liberty, not marking how the spotted hawk in flight passed on wide pinion through the lofty air, to where the steep untrodden mountain height caught the last tresses of the sun god's hair. or how the little flower he trod upon, the daisy, that white feathered shield of gold, followed with wistful eyes the wandering sun, content if once its leaves were aureoled. But surely it is something to have been the best beloved for a little while, to have walked hand in hand with love, and seen his purple wings flit once across thy smile. Ay, though the gorged asp of passion feed on my boy's heart, yet have I burst the bars, stood face to face with beauty, known indeed, the love which moves the sun and the stars. The Glowworm by Madison Julius Cawain. How long had I sat there and had not beheld the gleam of the glowworm till something compelled? The heaven was starless, the forest was deep, and the vistas of darkness stretched silent in sleep. And late mid the trees had I lingered until no thing was awake but the lone whippoorwill. And haunted of thoughts for an hour I sat on a lichen gray rock where the moss was a mat, and thinking of one whom my heart had held dear, like terrible waters a gathering fear, came stealing upon me with all the distress of loss and of yearning and powerlessness, till the hopes and the doubts and the sleepless unrest that, swallow-like, built in the home of my breast, now hither, now thither, now heavenward flew, wild-winged as the winds are, now suddenly drew my soul to abysses of nothingness, where all light was a shadow, all hope a despair, where truth that religion had set upon high, the darkness distorted and changed to a lie, and dreams of the beauty ambition had fed, like leaves of the autumn fell blighted and dead. And I rose with my burden of anguish and doom, and cried, "Oh my God, had I died in the womb, then born into night with no hope of the morn, and heir unto shadows to live so forlorn. All effort is vain, and the planet called faith sinks down, and no power is real but death. Oh, light me a torch in the deepening dark, so my sick soul may follow, my sad heart may mark." And then in the darkness the answer came from earth, not from heaven, a glimmering flame. Behold, at my feet, in the shadow it shone, mysteriously lovely and dimly alone, an ember, a sparkle of dew and of glower, like the lamp that a spirit hangs under a flower. As goldenly green as the phosphorus star, a fairy may wear in her diadem's bar, an element essence of moonlight and dawn, that, trodden and trampled, burns on and burns on. And hushed was my soul with the lesson of light that God had revealed to me there in the night, though mortal its structure, material its form, the spiritual message of worm unto worm. Bond and Free by Robert Frost. Love has earth to which she clings, with hills encircling arms about, wall within wall to shut fear out. But thought has need of no such things, for thought has a pair of dauntless wings. On snow and sand and turf I see where love has left a printed trace, was straining in the world's embrace. And such is love, and glad to be, but thought has shaken his ankles free. Thought cleaves the interstellar gloom, and sits in Sirius' disk all night, till day makes him retrace his flight, with smell of burning on every plume, back past the sun to an earthly room. His gains in heaven are what they are, yet some say love by being thrall, and simply staying possesses all, in several beauty that thought fares far to find fused in another star. A Prayer by James Joyce. Again, come, give, yield all your strength to me. From far a low word breathes on the breaking brain, its cruel calm, submission's misery, gentling her awe as to a soul predestined. Cease, silent love, my doom. Blind me with your dark nearness. Oh, have mercy, beloved enemy of my will. I dare not withstand the cold touch that I dread. Draw from me still. My slow life, bend deeper on me, threatening head, proud by my downfall, remembering, pitying him who is, him who was. Again, together folded by the night, they lay on earth. I hear from far her low word breathe on my breaking brain. Come, I yield, bend deeper upon me. I am here. Subdue, do not leave me. Only joy, only anguish. Take me, save me, soothe me. Oh, spare me. Prologue to the University of Oxford by John Dryden. Though actors cannot much of learning boast, of all who want it, we admire it most. We love the praises of a learned pit, as we remotely are allied to wit. We speak our poet's wit, and trade in ore, like those who touch upon the golden shore. Betwixt our judges can distinction make, discern how much and why our poems take. Mark of the fools, or men of sense, rejoice, whether the applause be only sound or voice. When our fop gallants or our city folly clap over loud, it makes us melancholy. We doubt that scene which does their wonder raise, and for their ignorance contemn their praise. Judge then, if we who act and they who write should not be proud of giving you delight. London likes Grosley, but this nicer pit examines, fathoms all the depths of wit. The ready finger lays on every blot, knows what should justly please and what should not. Nature herself lies open to your view. You judge by her what trot of her is true, where outlines false and colors seem too faint, where bunglers daub and where true poets paint. But by the sacred genius of this place, by every muse, by each domestic grace, be kind to wit, which but endeavors well, and where you judge presumes not to excel. Our poets hither for adoption come, as nations sued to be made free of Rome, not in the suffragetting tribes to stand, but in your utmost, last, provincial band. If his ambition may those hopes pursue, who with religion loves your arts and you, Oxford to him a dearer name shall be than his own mother university. Thebes did his green, unknowing youth engage, he chooses Athens in his riper age. Break, Break, Break by Alfred Tennyson. Break, break, break on thy cold grey stones, O sea, and I would that my tongue could utter the thoughts that arise in me. O well for the fisherman's boy that he shouts with his sister at play. O well for the sailor lad that he sings in his boat on the bay. And the stately ships go on to their haven under the hill. But oh for the touch of a vanished hand, and the sound of a voice that is still. Break, break, break at the foot of thy crags, O sea, but the tender grace of a day that is dead will never come back to me. The Deserted House by Alfred Tennyson. Life and thought have gone away, side by side, leaving door and windows wide. Careless tenants they. All within is dark as night. In the windows is no light, and no murmur at the door, so frequent on its hinge before. Close the door, the shutters close, or through the windows we shall see the nakedness and vacancy of the dark, deserted house. Come away, no more of mirth is here or merry-making sound. The house was builded of the earth, and shall fall again to the ground. Come away, for life and thought here no longer dwell, but in a city glorious, a great and distant city, have bought a mansion incorruptible. Would they could have stayed with us. He Wishes for the Close of Heaven by W.B. Yeats. Had I the heavens' embroidered cloths, enwrought with golden and silver light, the blue and the dim and the dark cloths of night and light and the half-light, I would spread the cloths under your feet. But I, being poor, have only my dreams. I have spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams. Should Those Fond Hopes by Thomas Moore. Should those fond hopes ever forsake thee, which now so sweetly thy heart employ, should the cold world come to wake thee from all thy visions of youth and joy, should the gay friends for whom thou wouldst banish him who once thought thy young heart his own, all like spring birds falsely vanish, and leave thy winter unheeded and alone. Oh, 'tis then that he thou hast slighted would come to cheer thee when all seemed o'er. Then the truant, lost and blighted, would to his bosom be taken once more. Like that dear bird we both can remember, who left us while summer shone round, but when chilled by bleak December, on our threshold a welcome still found. Jerusalem by William Blake. And did those feet in ancient time walk upon England's mountains green, and was the holy Lamb of God on England's pleasant pastures seen? And did the countenance divine shine forth upon our clouded hills, and was Jerusalem builded here among these dark satanic mills? Bring me my bow of burning gold, bring me my arrows of desire, bring me my spear, O clouds unfold, bring me my chariot of fire. I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand, till we have built Jerusalem in England's green and pleasant land. The Wild Swans at Cool by W.B. Yeats. The trees are in their autumn beauty, the woodland paths are dry. Under the October twilight the water mirrors a still sky. Upon the brimming water among the stones are 59 swans. The 19th autumn has come upon me. Since I first made my count, I saw before I had well finished all suddenly mount, and scatter wheeling in great broken rings upon their clamorous wings. I have looked upon those brilliant creatures, and now my heart is sore. All's changed since I, hearing at twilight, the first time on this shore, the bell beat of their wings above my head, trod with a lighter tread. Unwearied still, lover by lover, they paddle in the cold, companionable streams, or climb the air. Their hearts have not grown old. Passion or conquest, wander where they will, attend upon them still. But now they drift on the still water, mysterious, beautiful. Among what rushes will they build? By what lake's edge or pool delight men's eyes when I awake some day to find they have flown away? Piccadilly Circus at Night by D.H. Lawrence. When into the night the yellow light is roused like dust above the towns, or like a mist the moon has kissed from off a pool in the midst of the downs. Our faces flower for a little hour, pale and uncertain along the street. Daisies that waken all mistaken, white spread in expectancy to meet. The luminous mist which the poor things wist was dawn arriving across the sky. When dawn is far behind the star, the dust-lit town has driven so high. All birds are folded in a silent ball of sleep. All the flowers are faded from the asphalt isle in the sea. Only we hard-faced creatures go round and keep the shores of this innermost ocean alive and illusory. Wanton sparrows that twittered when morning looked in at their eyes, and the Cyprian's pavement roses are gone, and now it is we, flowers of illusion who shine in our gods, make a paradise on the shores of this ceaseless ocean, gay birds of the town-dark sea. The Indian Serenade by Percy Shelley. I arise from dreams of thee in the first sweet sleep of night, when the winds are breathing low and the stars are shining bright. I arise from dreams of thee, and a spirit in my feet hath led me, who knows how, to thy chamber's windows sweet. The wandering airs they faint on the dark, the silent stream. The champic odors fail, like sweet thoughts in a dream. The nightingale's complaint, it dies upon her heart, as I must on thine, O beloved as thou art. O lift me from the grass, die, I faint, I fail. Let thy love and kisses rain on my lips and eyelids pale. My cheek is cold and white, alas! My heart beats loud and fast. Oh, press it to thine own again, where it will break at last.